Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle from the 2021 format. On one side, we got the Ice Rider Calyrex deck, as used by Christian Hasbani, the 9th place competitor in the Players' Cup 4 Global Finals, going up against the Shadow Rider Calyrex deck, as used by Angel Aranibar Huamani, a 4th place competitor in the Global Finals, so we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. And for today's special Halloween rule, we'll be having some spooky Pokemon stop by between turns to trick or treat, activating their abilities to affect both players at the same time, ignoring the activation conditions that those abilities might have, just to make the game that little more interesting. And finally, before we begin, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account, at Holland_Phantom, so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle! And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Ice Rider side, we've got Sobble as the active Pokemon, and on the Shadow Rider side, we've got Shadow Rider Calyrex as the active Pokemon. The Ice Rider side is going first, activating Capacious Bucket, to then search the deck for 2 water energies to add into the player's hand. Now the next card activated is going to be a Quick Ball, discarding Path to the Peak from the hand, to then search the deck for any basic Pokemon, so let's see what they get. The chosen card is going to be Ice Rider Calyrex coming down onto the bench, and now we have both Calyrex forms in play, but they still have to evolve into their VMax forms to reach their full power. A water energy comes down to the Ice Rider Calyrex, and it's going to be the first turn. And now the first trick or treater comes in, it's going to be Bayonet to activate the ability Curse of Devolution, but because there's no evolved Pokemon in play, it does nothing. And now over to the Shadow Rider's first turn. The player benches the second Calyrex and then activates Quick Ball, discarding a card from their hand to then search the deck for a Cresselia to place onto their bench. Let's see what else they can do with their first turn. Now they're going to be activating a switch to promote Cresselia. Looks like it's going to be the first attacker. It gets a Psychic type energy. And there's the first attack, Crescent Glow. Now the player can search the deck for up to 3 Psychic energies to attach to one of their Pokemon. And just like that, one of the Calyrex on the bench is fully powered up. Just needs to evolve to start dealing some real damage. Now turn passes. Oh, but first we got to see the trick or treater. It's going to be Trevenant this time. Oh, here we go. It activates the ability Forest Curse. And now the Ice Rider player cannot activate any item cards for their turn. Sorry. The active Sobble evolves into Drizzile to activate the ability Shady Dealings, searching the deck for Evolution Incense. But because of the Trevenant in play, the player cannot activate it yet. A second water energy comes down to the Ice Rider Calyrex, and that's going to be it. Turn passes. And now the next trick or treater is going to be Dark Houndoom to activate the Poke Power Fire Breath. Both players flip a coin. Okay, the Ice Rider side gets a Tails. Shadow Rider gets Heads, which means that Drizzile is now burned. It's going to be taking 20 damage between turns, and now the player gets to flip a coin to see if they get healed from the burn. It's off camera. Oh, but it looks like it was a Heads. The burn comes off, and now turn passes over to the Shadow Rider side. Do they have the first evolution? Okay, they will. They have Evolution Incense, same as the Ice Rider. And now one of the Shadow Rider Calyrex evolves into its VMax form. Now has access to a new attack and a lot more HP. Actually, here we go. There's a second one in play. The first one activates its ability, Underworld Door, attaching a Psychic energy from the hand onto the other Calyrex and then drawing 2 cards from the deck. And here's the supporter for the turn, Marnie. Both players shuffle their hands, place them at the bottom of the deck. The Shadow Rider player gets to draw 5 cards, and the Ice Rider player only draws 4. So they just got rid of the Evolution Incense that the Ice Rider player just got. Okay, they're still not done with their turn. Next we see a Fog Crystal, searching the deck for a third Shadow Rider Calyrex to place onto the bench. And the player still has access to their second Underworld Door ability. Okay, Cresselia is going to be paying the retreat cost to promote the fully powered up Calyrex. Do they have any more energy in hand to attach? No, they don't, but they do have the first KO. There's the attack Max Geist, taking the KO against Drizzile and taking the first prize of the game. And now Ice Rider Calyrex comes into the active spot, and there's the next trick or treater, Gourgeist, to activate the ability Startling Pumpkin. And now both players get to discard 2 random cards from their opponent's hand. So the Shadow Rider player discards Old Rod, or what was it? Ordinary Rod, one of those 2 rods, and Calyrex VMax, and the Calyrex player discards the Shady Dealings and Drizzile, and I missed the other one. I didn't get a chance to see it. Okay, here we go. The Ice Rider Calyrex gets a 3rd water energy, and it finally evolves into its VMax form. Sobble also came down to the bench, and there's the attack. Looks like it was a Max Lance, discarding just 1 water energy to hit the Shadow Rider Calyrex for 130 damage, getting it within KO range for the following turn. And now the next trick-or-treater is going to be Marshadow to activate the ability Let Loose. Both players shuffle away their hands to draw 4 cards apiece. So both players get equally disrupted by that ability. And now let's see what the Shadow Rider player can do. There we see an Underworld Door from the benched Calyrex. Attaches an energy onto itself to draw 2 cards. Do they have another Psychic Energy? Looks like they do. There's a second Underworld Door ability. Getting another energy onto the bench Calyrex, drawing another 2 cards. And there's a manual attachment coming down onto the basic Calyrex. So Max Geist is going to be hitting for, I think it's 220 damage. It does 10 damage plus 30 more for every Psychic Energy in play. Okay, there's the next trick-or-treater, another Bayonet, but this time it has the ability Puppet Offering. So both players get to search their discard piles for a supporter card to add to their hand. But it looks like only the Shadow Rider player has a supporter. It was Marnie, so the Ice Rider player gets nothing. Okay, for their turn, they bench a second Ice Rider Calyrex and attach an air balloon to it to give it a free retreat cost, and now they activate Level Ball to search the deck for... It's going to be a second Sobble coming down onto the bench. And here we go, there's another Level Ball being activated, searching the deck for another Pokemon. And this time it's going to be the Drizzile to evolve the first Sobble. Okay, there we go. Sobble evolves into Drizzile, activating Shady Dealings, and now they can search their deck for any trainer card to add to their hand. And they're going to be choosing Professor's Research to draw some more cards out of the deck. Let's see what they're going to be getting. Oh, but first they activate a Reset Stamp, forcing their opponent to shuffle away their hand and then draw 1 card for each of the remaining prizes. So the Shadow Rider player only gets to draw 5 cards now. Reset Stamp is a card that only gets stronger as the game goes on, but it looks like they wanted to use it before activating Professor's Research. Here we go, they discard the rest of their hand to draw 7 brand new cards. Let's see what else they get. There's a Water Energy attachment coming down to the benched Calyrex, and the Stadium card is going to be Path to the Peak to shut off the ability of the Shadow Rider Calyrex. There's the attack, Max Lance, discarding both Water Energy to take the KO against the Shadow Rider Calyrex and taking 3 prizes. The Ice Rider player is now in the lead. Okay, now in between turns, we're going to be seeing Dusclops with the ability Curse Blast, and now both players get to place 50 damage on one of their opponent's Pokemon. So they come down into the benched Ice Rider Calyrex and onto the new active Shadow Rider Calyrex. Okay, now the player activates a Fog Crystal to search the deck for a Marshadow, putting down onto the bench. Followed by Evolution Incense to search the deck for an Evolution card to add to their hand, and it's going to be the third Shadow Rider Calyrex VMax to evolve their benched one. There we see Marshadow's ability activating to discard itself, along with the Path to the Peak. And now the player once again has access to their Underworld Door abilities. There's the first one, attaching an energy card into the benched Calyrex, drawing 2 cards. And now the active one is going to be getting an air balloon to get a free retreat cost. Oh, and there's another Marnie card. Once again, forcing both players to place their hands at the bottom of the deck. The Ice Rider player draws 4, the Shadow Rider player draws 5. And there's Ordinary Rod. Okay, that's what it's called. Not Old Rod, Ordinary Rod. Search in the discard pile for 2 Psychic Energies. And then Basic and Evolution Calyrex forms to shuffle back into the deck. And there's the attack, another Max Geist. Taking the KO against Ice Rider Calyrex, taking 3 prizes. And now the Shadow Rider side is down to just 2 prizes remaining. As long as they can take the KO against this Ice Rider Calyrex, they can take the game. And now the next trick-or-treater is going to be Chandelure to activate the ability Mountain Roasting, forcing both players to discard the top 3 cards of the deck. Oh, there's another Drizzile going to the discard pile for the Ice Rider side. Let's see what they can do. Okay, there's an Evolution Incense. Searching the deck for... They might be going for the VMax. Oh, actually, no. They go for Inteleon to evolve the Drizzile. Inteleon then activates Shady Dealings to get 2 trainer cards into the hand. So they're going to be choosing Evolution Incense and Melanie. Okay, so with Evolution Incense, now they can get the VMax. And with Melanie, they can attach another water energy onto this Calyrex to let it attack. Okay, there's the VMax coming down. Still needs one more energy to be fully powered up. Okay, and there's the support for the turn. Melanie getting water energy from the discard pile to attach onto their active Pokemon. And now the player gets to draw 3 cards. Okay, any more cards? Yeah, there we see another Quick Ball being activated, discarding Marnie from the hand for any basic Pokemon from the deck. And they're going to be choosing another Calyrex to place onto their bench. Both players have to be careful not to let their active Pokemon get KO'd, otherwise it could cost them the game. There we see a third energy coming down to the active Calyrex. And there's the attack. Max Lance, discarding 1 water energy to hit for 130 damage. So one more attack into the Shadow Rider Calyrex can take the KO. Okay, the next trick-or-treater is going to be Dracloak, activating the ability Recon Directive. Both players look at the top 2 cards of their deck. They can keep one in their hand and then put the other card at the bottom of the deck. Okay, now let's see what the Shadow Rider player can do. They have to get this Calyrex out of the active spot, otherwise it will be getting KO'd on the following turn and then lose the game. There's an Underworld Door ability, getting an energy card onto the benched Shadow Rider. There's a second one, attaching onto the basic Calyrex, drawing some more cards out of the deck. Okay, yeah, and the player's going to be retreating their damaged Calyrex to promote their fully refreshed one. So they will be able to deal some pretty big damage onto this Ice Rider Calyrex. Oh, actually, never mind. That is going to be the game. The player has access to Boss's orders to bring up the basic Ice Rider Calyrex. And there's the final attack, Max Geist, to take the final 2 prize cards. And there's the handshake. Shadow Rider Calyrex is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom saying Happy Halloween!